You guys held them to 103 points. Defense wasn't bad overall, but just putting together stops was something that hurt you guys in that game. Tonight, you guys made big stops in the big plays. You had to poke away, I think, on Tatum and Isaiah and Cade had the block. How important is it to just, your team's not going to play great for a whole 48 minutes, but to be able to nail down in the game when the game is, how important is that for this team to learn too?
It's extremely important. I think as a young team, you might not know, but as you get experience and as you play more games, you realize in the fourth quarter at crunch time, that's when you have to make big plays.
How important was it to go in the All-Star break with a performance like this? Because obviously the losing streak has you feeling a certain kind of way, but to get a win like this on the road,
it's huge, like you said. I think we lost 8 straight. So getting this win going into the break give us a little confidence going into the rest of the season.
Kelly's obviously gone through a lot the last few months with the injury and COVID. For him to look more like himself, how big, just the addition of having him, Kelly being Kelly, how big will that be for this team as you guys get over the break and start finishing out the season?
It's huge. I mean, we all know what Kelly can do. He's proved himself time and time again in the league. Just letting him go out there and play free. I think he was playing free tonight. I think last couple of games he might have been in his head a little bit. But he's playing free tonight, and when he plays like that, we'll definitely get more wins.
Keith, you got one? You guys good?
All set.
All right.
how did it feel to get a few threes tonight? I think it's been probably 3 weeks since you returned to somewhere else. How did you feel tonight?
Good, man. I mean, obviously it's good to have some shots falling, get a little back into some better flow and rhythm. I thought we were pretty good as a team, getting into a flow and a rhythm as a unit, both units really, and just playing 48 minutes.
On top of that, in the Wizards game, you guys didn't play terrible defense, but kind of struggled to put stops together when you needed to. Tonight, that wasn't necessarily the case. Jerami had to poke away, I think, on Tatum, the double block with Isaiah and Cade. How much does that defensively to make those type of plays boost kind of the energy? Not just obviously people talk about the shot making, but those type of plays as well, especially late in games.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. That last 4 minutes, I think, called timeout. We were down 8 with like under 4 left, just 4 minutes left. And that group was unbelievable, capitalizing offensively, making plays, and then coming down defensively and just choking the life out of them, making them take tough shots, over, getting stops, coming over. That block by Isaiah was huge, poking the ball away, just making life difficult. And, they did a really good job at that. And like you said, we just got stops at key times.
It's only been 2 games, obviously, but what's the difference in playing with Trey and now playing with Marvin? What does Marvin bring that maybe you guys had not?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. Obviously Trey is a really good player. He was great for us. He spaces the floor, can shoot it, put on the deck. With Marvin, you got a real lob threat, a guy who's bouncy, active on the offensive glass. Can throw it down in the post to him and he can, get you a bucket. Again, just puts a different dynamic in that unit. And I think it's good for us because we haven't really had that in that second unit. And, kind of lets me be more perimeter oriented and, hunt for some shots. And they got to obviously help inside on Marv and when he's, rolling and stuff. So I'm just trying to get him, acclimated to the system and try and, obviously get that unit to utilize his skills as well.
Yeah, I think there was one play you were trying to figure out where to go when you were telling him to go.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, he's been here like 2 days and 3 days and 2 of them were games. So it'll take a little while, but he'll adapt quickly. He's a good player. Appreciate it.
This wasn't an off night for the Celtics. They shot 55, I think, from 4, 40 from 3. You guys were able to punch for punch and get big stops, put together stops, which is unlike the Wizards game for you guys. For this performance at this point in the season, given what's happened the last 2 weeks for you, I'm assuming you're pretty proud of what the guys.
I'm proud of the way they competed. I loved, the togetherness that we had. We were connected. Something we talked about after the game the other night, and guys put their words into action. And that's what, a lot of times we all talk about stuff, but there's no action. So they really came through with the actions, togetherness, connected, cheering for each other on the bench. Nobody cared who scored, had 28 assists. And then we shot the ball. We shot, 50% from three. And that's always a telltale sign when you put the defense in, because, you can only go so far on great defense. You got to be able to score, and we did that tonight.
What was different with the togetherness there in the losing streak? There have been so many times where it's this run that you can go over defensively. There was this big breakdown. There might have been small stretches of it, but there wasn't that big run that you just gave up.
And you just described it, Rod. The good, when you develop into a good team, the mistakes and runs are less. There's always going to be runs and mistakes in the game. It's a game of mistakes. So you're going to have those, but we had fewer of them in certain situations. When we needed to stop, sometimes we got to stop. So it wasn't a continuous of compounding mistakes. And Lord knows we made some mistakes tonight, but they just weren't as prevalent or in succession, in sequence right after another. So that was the difference, I thought. They were spread out.
What does it mean to get this win right before the break? Like obviously we're going into All-Star weekend, but just given how the team have played over the last few weeks, does this kind of uplift the team?
It does. Again, we last 25, 26 games, whatever it is, we have to bring this connected attitude, the connected feeling that we had tonight to the last 25. Now we're going to go 25-0 or whatever. No, but still, the growth that we're going to show, that we showed tonight and bouncing back from the Washington game, is telling that the way we can grow and the level we can play at. That's a very good team. They're one of the top teams in the league right now. So that should give us confidence to go out and compete and show us how we need to play.
I shift gears a little bit. The three young guys in 𝐒𝐂𝐈𝐀𝐋 and 𝐒𝐎𝐂 all played fun games tonight. Of course, the three guys are the rising stars. Going to step up and beat this effort off Jerami. Just what do you think?
Oh, well, I thought they played well. Cade, Sadiq, and Isaiah, all three really competed at a high level. Cade down the stretch really did some good things to get us in there down the stretch. And that's a sign for our organization to have three young men in the Rising Stars game. I'd rather for them to be in the All-Star game, but the Rising Stars game is good for organization. It's a step for them in their careers, as well as our organization, our team going forward, to have that many young guys being recognized by the rest of the league. And they deserve it. They put in the work, but we have a lot of work to do, a lot of growth to be had, and they'll represent the organization, the city of Detroit well.
And is that something that you notice, like young players take a lot of stock and pride in, to have those honors and for the league to recognize what they've done?
They should. I think so. I really, they should, because we're a young team. That's what we're basing now we'd be in trouble if we had nobody in the game. So we got three. We are one of the youngest teams in the league, and it's just a sign of we're headed in the right direction.
Again, with Cade, he had 2 early fouls. Was that more a continuation of just you got to learn to play with it?
Learn to play with it, and learn to not to have those cheap fouls. That's the lesson he's got to learn. But again, trusting him, leaving him in there, letting him play, and play through it. And he did. I thought he again did a good job. But don't put yourself in you won't get framed if you're not. You don't get framed if you're not in the picture. So don't make those cheap fouls, reaching in, grabbing, and especially the first 2-3 minutes of the game. He's too important to us, but to his credit, he played much smarter after that.
How do you find that line between knowing when to sit a guy when he picks up 2 early ones and knowing when to give him that extra?
Well, I mean, again, it's something that we talked about as a staff, that we want him to grow into, to learn to play with that many fouls. Probably if it's game 7 or whatever, we may have gotten him out a little bit earlier, but he's learning. This is what this year is about. It's part of his growth process to learn to play with that many fouls in that situation. But the real reason is, the real lesson should be, don't get those cheap fouls that have no consequence, no nothing to do with the game. The first 2 minutes of the game.
Go to Zoom with Bob.
Yeah, Dwane, how are you?
Good, Bob. How you doing?
Good, thanks. Not to overstate just one game, but it was obviously an impressive game. Is that a glimpse of what you guys can be with the young guys and why you did want Jerami Grant here, and it would have taken a lot to get him in trade because he sort of tied it together there at the end. Was that a
Well, he
glimpse of
did.
what-
He did and not only did he score, he did a good job on Tatum down the stretch. He was kind of tag teaming with and I thought Cade did a good job on Tatum also. But Jerami getting the big bucket at the end was huge. Having someone to go to, I would say too, Cade is going to grow into that role also. But tonight, Jerami was that guy taking us down the stretch, made some big hoops and some great cuts to the basket. And he and Cade played off each other really well. So that was a big time performance by Jerami when we needed a go-to bucket. Because again, in this league with everybody switching, you've got to be able to create your own shot off the dribble versus switches versus bigs versus smalls. And tonight, Jerami did that.
Was this in a small window in a long season? Needed confirmation for them, maybe more than anybody for the young players.
Well, we need, Bob, no question. We needed it for our spirits. And by no means, like you said at the beginning, this doesn't make our season. We still have a lot of growth to do. And I'm not blind to that. I understand what we still have to do these last 26 games and throughout the summer. But again, it confirms what we're teaching, the style of play we're teaching, the drive, kick, swing. We shot 50-some% from three. And this is a 3-point game. And, their team, if we weren't making threes, we would have been in trouble because they were knocking them down too. And I thought we were playing well defensively. So the best defense is not going to stop the great offensive players. So you got to keep moving the scoreboard. And we did that tonight.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.